It's been so long, and it's so nice to see you again. Hi, it's me, Camila Rose, and we're going to do a tarot reading today, right? Who knew I even did these anymore for the channel? But we're going to do it. It's going to be fun. We're going to do, let's see, Uranus and Gemini per sign, maybe one or two cards each. Let's get started. Aries. What else we got going on for Aries? Ooh, Ace of Pentacles, Five of Swords. All right. So for our Aries folks, this is a time for some manifestation, new jobs, new behaviors, new habits. There may be money in the hand. So you may inherit some things, shift some things around. Five of Swords is saying that part of what will be coming forth in this time due to this new material manifestation will be getting to this space of dealing with learning to trust yourself and learning to trust others, learning to allow yourself to open up and let other people in. Five of Swords can be a card about defeating enemies, finding victory over others, using our thoughts and our words and our way of interacting and engaging, communicating with others in order to do so. But I always ask the question of at what cost? As you see, there's two individuals walking away here, with the victor perhaps standing there with the swords. So, while you might be gaining some material wealth or health benefits or things like that, you might be doing so at the loss of friends, family, acquaintances, colleagues. So Five of Swords to me is always a question around trust, but also around a desire for belonging and for inclusion, for a space where we feel seen and heard. And so it is the thought that if I were to be able to experience, to have the benefits, the privileges, the life that the other person has, then I too would be able to have the emotions that I think that they're having. And so it is a calling back our own projections. And it's an invitation to call back your own projections. So that's the work of this Uranus and Gemini for you, Aries, will be to learn how to call back your projections in a way so that you do not take what you think someone is emotionally experiencing, put that on that person, and then think that if you had what they had, if you bought the stuff that they had, if you had the career that they had, if you went and had the education that they had, if you had the wife or the husband or the partner that they had, then you would be happy, or you would be experiencing whatever emotion you think that they have. It is allowing yourself to live in reality and to have this understanding that you have to find your own path to those things in order to figure out how you will actually be able to experience the emotional state that you desire. So Taurus, clarifier for Taurus. Taurus got 2. 8 of Cups, Page of Wands, Emperor in reverse. Okay, so for Taurus, 8 of Cups, Page of Wands. 8 of Cups, it is time to walk away from a situation. There is something that you've been spending a lot of time on, Taurus. Something that you've put a lot of emotional care into. That means quite a bit for you. But if you were to stay in this situation, you would be settling. It is around Page of Wands, getting that spark back. So there's something that's been draining your energy, something that's been making you burn out. And although you've spent so much time investing in this situation, that if you want to be able to continue forth and get your energy back, get your fire back, you're going to have to leave this situation behind. And it is something that's going to turn a lot of your stability on its head, something that Taurus does not like. But you just had Uranus going through your sign, so you've experienced a lot of radical changes. and unexpected changes. More than likely, you have felt this in that realm of your values, of what's important to you and how you express those things. And you've had to really come to terms with the fact that some of the things that you thought were really important to you were just not as important, or that they're showing up in different ways. And that because you now have this wisdom and this knowledge, it is time for you to leave some of those things behind, whether you have already done so or whether you will continue to do so. But now that Uranus has moved through your sign, now things are calming down a little bit. You're really dealing with the aftermath of these radical changes. And because of that, it's time for you to redo. What does stability look like? What are the systems that you need in order to have some form of a life that you can depend on? And maybe it's time for you to continue to leave some things behind in order to get there. And for our Geminis, Queen of Swords, Page of Cups. So Geminis, this is your time to shine. You've gotten your beautiful card, Queen of Swords, good boundaries, my boundaries queen. Having good boundaries, being able to communicate very clearly about what your desires are, being able to have a plan for where you are going and not being afraid to share that plan with others. It is perhaps being a little bit emotionally cold, but then we do have that balanced out with your Page of Cups. And taking the reins, feeling empowered, speaking up, sharing your brilliance and your wisdom with others, especially as we are going to be experiencing quite significant changes when it comes to the topics of education and communication and our relationship between those who are closest to us. The idea of the brother and the sister, of the twin, of esoterically ruled by Venus, the lover, and the choices that we make and how that is influenced by what we think, how we gather information, how we sort information, and then how that information impacts our behaviors, the choices that we make about the things that we choose to do. So as we experience these really big changes, it is time for you to step into a space of empowerment, of you to really take this on and be the Queen of Swords, to really step up, right? We're going to need your insights and your experience, your lived experience of having a sun, moon, or whatever planets you happen to have in the sign of Gemini to help guide us during this time. And it's going to feel like a rebirth, Page of Cups, like a renewal of leaning into this space of what does it mean to love, to create, to step into an emotional space as if you've never experienced anything that would cause you harm or fear in those places. And how do you communicate? How do you connect with others and with yourself in that fashion? All right, and then I think we'll do Cancer, and then that'll be the last one on this row. We get let me get a little bit more light. That's good. Okay. 10 of Wands and a Magician. Ooh, yay for Cancers. Okay. So Cancers, you're looking at, you have a lot of responsibilities. You're picking up a lot of things. You're really making some good forward progression towards your goals. It feels like a heavy load. It is time for you to be very mindful of if you are trying to solve things for other people, if you are taking on other people's issues, if you are getting to this point where you are trying to solve and help and save everyone around you. The Magician is saying that this is a time of empowerment, very similar to the Geminis. But on the different route of the Magician, you have everything that you need. You have all the resources, you have all the skills, you have all the knowledge, you have all the information. You must direct your will. And when you are picking up everybody else's wands, when you are trying to solve and fix things for everybody else, you will not be able to focus on the things that you need and be able to really make the forward progression that you would like to. You will feel overburdened. You will be heading towards the burnout like those of the Taurus. And you have Jupiter currently moving through your sign for the next year and a couple of months. And so it is important for you because things are expanding. This is a time where you can experience great manifestation, but Jupiter will expand whatever is in that sign. So if you are going through a lot and you are just picking up more and more and more because you have not learned the lesson of having good boundaries and saying no and turning things down or letting things go when you've come to the end of it and it doesn't serve you anymore, you will not be able to tap into this beautiful energy of the Magician because you will have too many things on your plate to be able to do so. So this is a time really for you to be very clear, very Clear is kind. So be very clear, be very upfront, honest assessments of what you can and cannot handle, and to be very honest with yourself about what it is that you really desire to do and create. Right, Leos. Ooh, no, we're not doing all of that. Leos, maybe you need a full reading. Well, your first card is out, and your first card is the Page of Pentacles. So newness, new ways of engaging with your body, new ways of engaging with the world around you, new ways of making money. You're like, where do I want to plant these seeds? This is a vibrant time for you, and you're leaning into it. You're very much so enjoying that. You are Seven of Wands, expanding when it comes to the Wands energy, expanding when it comes to your creativity, to your inner fire. You've made choices, you've gained victories, Six of Wands, you've overcome obstacles, and now you're like, what can I do next? Where do I go next with this? I feel like there's more that I can do. And although you may still be a little defensive about the choices that you've made and the things that you've done, even if you have overcome those obstacles, it is a time that you feel like there is infinite possibilities. And there is an opening up to this idea of the infinite possibilities. And where do you want to plant this seed? Hopefully during this time, you'll gain some clarity about where to put that energy. We'll take this one, and then we'll take this one for Virgo. So maybe Virgos will get a full reading because you had cards that want to pop out. Virgo, yes. I was like, is it Virgo's time? Yes. Virgo, you get Justice and you get the Strength card. So Virgos, this is a great time for you. Yay! The mutable energy is doing what it needs to do with that Uranus going through Gemini. So Justice. There have been some things that have felt very unfair, and they are being corrected. You do not have to do the work in order to get these things to be corrected. You need to get out of the way. So if you have control issues, Virgo, if you are trying to run the show, Virgo, you're going to have to learn how to sit back and find that balance internally and externally, and find ways to bring your mind to a state of peace. So we have Uranus going through Gemini, as I mentioned, communication, education, how we connect with the other, our understanding of our closest relationships, the idea of the brother and the sister, the twins, your unconscious and your conscious side. How do you find your whole self and connect to the whole self? Not being so concerned about the higher self and taking the higher path, or the lower self and the shadow and the things that are going there, but that happiness, that happy middle, that space where you're all together as one. How do you find that balance in order to get justice in the world around you? Maybe you're leaning into some legal things that are going on, but if you can follow your instincts, the Strength card, you can trust yourself, you can be brave, and you can allow yourself to kind of overcome that internal space that may want to lash out or have a response that you're used to. You can bring the mind into this conversation. Justice is the Libra card. So it's another Aries sign when we're looking at this idea of the air signs and Uranus going through Gemini. So it's another airy way. It's the balance. It's the beauty, which is saying that I am in harmony with myself, harmony with source, harmony with the world around me, harmony with others. How do you balance those things out? And your instincts can help guide you. But you do not want to be overcome by your instincts. You want to be in healthy relationship with them. So where you have that just immediate response to the world around you. Maybe you're able to assess the threats and be able to respond to them. Maybe you're able to assess when something is healthy and unhealthy and be able to engage with it. But you want to also bring your mind into the conversation to say, in the rationale part of you, is this in balance? Is this something that actually brings me harmony? And so that's your next steps with this. So expect some things to work out, especially the stuff that might have been really getting on your nerves and going real wonky. My beautiful Libras, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am a Libra. Y'all know how I feel about you. I love you. So to my Libras, we get a King of Swords upright. We get the Sun card in reverse. So Libras, similar to our Gemini sisters, we are stepping into the mastering of the energy of air. So time for meditation, time for really diving deep into your spirituality, time for really understanding that spaces. It gives very Hierophant energy of us being the individuals, being the channel or the bridge to source. It is, I read this beautiful saying that the beauty of the thought, the beauty of creation. They spoke in words, and life was created. It is that space that you're mastering, that you're leaning into, that you're becoming the king of. And so it's really stepping into that role of accepting that if you did the work of North Node moving through, South Node moving through Libra, of North Node moving through Aries, of the switching over into the Pisces and the Virgo relationship and concepts, the eclipses that move through your sign. If you really did that work of Saturn now and Neptune now moving through Aries, which is activating that oppositional energy to you to say, can I be real? Can I be honest? Can I be upfront? Can I face conflict without having to shy away from it? To master your internal conflict and the conflict that you may have with source, with spirit, with your spirituality, and how that shows up to you, to quiet the mind in order to be able to order the mind, in order to be able to order your thoughts, in order to be able to share them with others and to create from there. You get the Sun card in reverse, which is saying that there is a going within, and in this mastery, you may feel like you're not receiving recognition. You may feel cut off from the ego. You may feel cut off from some of your ways that you responded to the things around you. Your inner child that is looking to be seen, feel heard, feel appreciated. You may not feel that. It may be a cold time for you when things feel like no one is listening. No one sees where you're coming from. Even they may be responding better to the Gemini energy, even though you are at the king space. You know, you're mastering these things. You understand it. It is a time of really going within and getting that clarity, finding the grounding, finding the peace through doing the work. So meditate and journal, do the inner work, my beautiful, lovely Libras. For the Scorpios, we get the Two of Pentacles in reverse and we get the Star card. Scorpios, Uranus moving through Gemini is a time for you to narrow down, focus. Don't try to do everything. Don't try to take on all the jobs, to be the multi-passionate person who has 500 different hobbies or careers or anything like that. Find the umbrella. If that is the way you're doing it, then you need to find the thing that connects them all together. And then you need to like hone in, dive in deep, do the Scorpio thing, dive in deep to that space, hold that space, and then go from there. You get the Star card. This is a wish coming true. This is a wish upon a star. This is a time of keeping hope and faith that you will be able to achieve the things that you desire. You are going to need to narrow down and focus. All right, let's see. Let's get our last four. Starting with Scorpio, and then we'll finish it out. It's just a little quick hello. How are you? My name is. Okay, let's see what we got going on for our last four signs for Uranus in Gemini. So for our Sagittarius, what do we got? What are we working with, Saggies? Yeah. Ooh, Sagittarius. Delightful. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put you in the middle since it's just going to be the four. We get a 10 of Pentacles and we get an 8 of Pentacles. Legacy, long-term investment. Sagittarius, this is your time. Build your legacy. Build your kingdom. Figure out what it is that you want. Put that stuff into practice. Figure out what things are that you've inherited in your behaviors and in how you respond to the long term. Figure out if you want to continue that legacy or if you want to start another one, and then put your head down and do the work. Focus. Do not get distracted. Do not think about anything else other than where you are trying to go and the goals you're trying to achieve, especially when it comes to your health and to your finances. Let's see. Capricorn. Capricorn got Hierophant in the Four of Wands. So you are stepping into the guidance space. It may be time, you know, we had a not so great time, in my opinion, with Pluto moving through Capricorn. A lot of our systems needed to be revamped. And in my opinion, it feels like we have taken some backward steps with that. But it's time to bring a little bit more order to things. It's time to really step into this space of being the channel, being the go-between. So whether you are a manager, whether you are a parent, whether you are someone who works in a religious space, you are the person who is sharing information with others. You're taking that information in and you're going to be spreading it to the masses, regardless of what the source is that you're getting it from. So you are going to have to own that, but also to understand you must keep your channel clean. So if you are getting into messiness, if you're getting into scandals or anything like that, or misinformation, you need to be making sure that your channel, you are clear, and so that you're delivering clear messages both from the people and to source. To go with that, you get a Four of Wands, and Four of Wands is all about stability within the fire, within the home, creating a space where you can have joy and laughter. It is stabilizing these systems, stabilizing your own family system, perhaps, where things might have gotten a little wonky over the past time. We got this Ace of Pentacles. It's going to be sideways. I'm going to read it as sideways. That's for my Capricorns. For Aquarius, you got Ace of Pentacles that was sideways. So this is similar to the Aries. You may have some new things coming into play. You do have Pluto that's moving through your sign. You have Uranus that's doing its thing. Fixed air, though, might not be so open to the radical changes that are coming in with Gemini, but their other sister sign, but you might be able to tap into some real nice new abundance through finances, through your physical health. It is a time when things can be reborn, but it was sideways, and your clarifier is the Hanged Man. This may be a time when you feel that you are in the sacred pause. Maybe you can feel that like it's right there, like the new job, the new opportunity, it all seems right there, but you just can't seem to get over the edge, over that next step. You may also be feeling persecuted at this time, as if people are judging you or blaming you, saying that things are your fault for why things are falling through, why you just can't get to the other side. Hangman is always about a journey to the world, and it's time for you to see a different perspective. The pause, the obstacles, the issues of actually getting to your Ace of Pentacles is all part of there's something that you need to see differently, and it is bringing you to that point, slowing things down, putting these obstacles in your way in order for you to change the way that you're viewing things. Again, Uranus going through Gemini, communication, education, connection, choices. So, last but not least, Pisces. Okay. Pisces, lovely, beautiful Pisces. You got an 8 of Wands. So, manifestation time. My lovely mutables. Manifestation time. What do you want, Pisces? Hopefully you got some clarity. North Node's moving through Pisces. You had Saturn moving through Pisces that was like, get rid of this stuff. You had Neptune moving through Pisces that was like, what are your dreams? Let's get it. Let's be delusional. And then Saturn was like, yeah, okay, that's enough of that. Like, let's get real here. Let's get back into form. Let's get back into our bodies. And now you have the North Node moving through Pisces, and it's saying, hey, like, what's your purpose? What patterns are you repeating? Where are you willing to be brave and to be open and to be honest? And if you can ask, be brave, ask for what it is that you desire. If you can send the prayers up, then they will be answered, and they will come down, and they will bring you closer to what it is you want. It is very fast energy. So this time of Uranus moving through Gemini, that beautiful activation of trines, it will be trining your energy. So it will be moving things and radically changing things, but in a way that if you are willing to speak up and put it out there, then you will get the responses. You'll get news, you'll get information, you'll see the forward progression, you'll have the important conversations that you need to be having. So do the work, Pisces. Put it out there. Manifest. All right, y'all. So that's it. That's all our signs. 12 signs. Quick little look at Uranus moving through Gemini for all 12 signs. If you would like a personal reading, you can book one at www.theblissinstitute.org. You can visit me for an in-person reading if you're in the DFW area, and you can find that on my Where to Find Me page on the website. It was so good to see y'all. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.